Welcome to Suspension MAXX. Today we're going to talk about the individual components that come in a MAXX Cam 9 Suspension MAXX leveling kit for the 2020 and up heavy duty Chevy and GMC truck. The first thing you're going to get are the patented MAXX Cams. Now these have the adjustable inner gear that you can rotate and dial it in for just the right height. Now these are exact fit. They don't fit loose on the torsion bars. They position the torsion bar settings uniquely, and in our instruction sheet is the calibration on how to set it. Now once it's set, there's a unique little clip that holds the insert in so that it doesn't come out of place as you're facilitating putting it in the truck. You'll see that in the instruction video. The other thing that you're going to get with the MAXX Cam system is our differential lowering spacers. Now these uniquely go in 4 strategic points to reduce the CV joint angle. They also include the heavy duty anchor bolts and the extra large support washers. Now on top of that, you also get new shock hardware. Now you remove the original shock studs, which are very short, you install the new studs, you install the recommended spacer and the new attachment nut on top. Now once this is all installed and the differential is lowered, you also need the Suspension MAXX skid plate lowering kit. Now this is going to put the skid plate low enough that it doesn't interfere with the differential. These are all the components that are part of a patented leveling lift system for your 2020 Chevy heavy duty. So look for the MAXX Cam 9 to fit your truck. Now, these are the torsion bar adjustment bolts. These are for maintenance of the ride height within the factory suspension system. The first thing you'll notice is this bolt is much further down than this one. Well, that doesn't mean that the truck is tilted. That means that this side torsion bar system needed additional turning to raise it up and less on this side. Now, people say, well, why don't I just crank on the bolts? Well, if you think you're going to crank this bolt in, the first thing you're going to find is, yeah, there's a lot of thread here, but up inside the frame, this torsion bar lever is very big and it's almost bottomed out in the top of the frame. Cranking on the bolt is only going to push that lever solid against the top of that cross member. That's going to give you minimal ride height gains. Now the Suspension MAXX system is going to recalibrate the initial setting on the torsion bar, maintaining the factory adjustment so you can maintain your ride down the road and initially when you put it together. We're going to show you how our torsion bar tool works on here, how to unadjust and readjust the torsion bar settings, and how the MAXX Cams work. This is a Suspension MAXX patented torsion bar unloading tool. This is the 2011 T-Max. This is a bigger frame, more steel, deeper throat, longer reach. Now, on the Silverado heavy duty diesel, there's a flange on the exhaust manifold. And this flange actually sits below the cross member. So, when you go to put this tool in, you can see you can't not get past that exhaust. Okay? So what we're going to do is, we're going to take the pry bar right there. That is now engaged in that circular hole in the top of the cross member. Come on down here and you can see how the frame of the tool gets in there. Now look at that. There's no torsion bar torque. They're making this so loosely fit, there's no need for a torsion bar tool at the factory to assemble it. What you can do, this factory system, you can push it up like that. Put the block in. Look at here. Pull out the block, and all you have to do is slowly slide that torsion bar forward, and that lever moves right out. Now it can only go that high in the frame. Now this side might have some tension on it. See, now this side is loaded. So this side does have tension on the block and will require the tool to unload it. Okay. The MAXX installer tool has a wrench flat. So what you do is you place the wrench on the tool, preventing the tool from rotating as you tension it. Step 2, we're going to remove the skid plate bolts. We've removed the skid plate, gaining access to the underside of the differential. Now there are differential mounting bolts. They go up through the differential mount into a little well down inside the frame. The way to get to that nut is to use a 21 millimeter socket and drop down on the inside. The nut's on top. You come in from the top down, holding the nut like this, with the air wrench or hand tool on the bottom. And we're going to hold the ratchet. Taking the bolt out. Let me get the nut out. Congested on the diesel because of the fuel injection lines into the exhaust. So we're going to use the same method, but we're going to gently come in above it, kind of beside it, around here towards the transmission and motor, and hook it right there. Now we're going to leave that bolt in there so that we can assemble this side, or we could support the differential with a stand. From Suspension MAXX in the MAXX Cam 9 kit is a differential spacer. You see it slides right in there.
Yep.
You get a new super hardened metric bolt and this huge 2-inch washer to replace the shorter bolt that came with it. You're going to reinsert the new supplied bolt from Suspension MAXX back through, aligning the frame and putting the nut back on top. Socket on the flex head ratchet, and we're going to snug this up. That's how it's done. I'm going to do the forward 2 spacers from Suspension MAXX to bring down the differential. And what you need is a bent 21mm wrench in this configuration. What it's going to do, it's going to allow you to reach up and over the top of the frame and getting a hold of that nut and backing everything off. Now, to clear this, we're going to rotate the axle shaft. You see here? We're going to bring this large washer down and allow it to come down with the drive axle. It won't go in right here. See here? But if you rotate the axle shaft to the clearance position, it will go right up into the frame. We're going to put the Suspension MAXX differential lowering kit in on the front side. That's going to float right in there. The bolt is going to come up. We're going to rotate the shaft. We're going to put an extension so we can guide this bolt around, flexing that bushing and getting that bolt to go through. It's coming through the top, and all we've got to do is thread the nut on. That's good to hold it so we can take the other side out. Okay, again, we're going to use our slightly bent 21mm wrench, placing it on top of the frame. We're going to reverse the direction of it, taking out the final bolt. Putting the new bolt in, if you have difficulty with the bolt not going directly through the frame, an extension on here, you can see how we can flex this bushing around and guide that bolt through the hole in the frame. I'm going to set the spacer up there. We're going to get the bolt through the spacer. See that? We were able to flex that bushing around and get that bolt to go through. Now we'll reinstall the nut. Okay. Once all the hardware's in, then we'll go over all the bolts. Now you can see there's plenty of clearance here for the drive shaft, the CV shaft, and also bypassing the steering linkage. Now we're going to show you how to install the Suspension MAXX shock extension sleeves on the top of this 2020 Silverado. You're going to remove the shock, take out the factory studs, and install these much longer studs in place of the factory ones. Step 1. Off the wiring with this type of tool up off the threads. Then we're going to install the ratchet wrench . All right, we're getting rid of the sloppy fit factory torsion key and putting on the MAXX cams. Now these are calibrated for this model in the A2 position. Now that's going to raise this truck up right here. There it is, installed. Now, the old one, you could take this key, this block right out. You can see now that's not possible. We took this right out with the factory sloppy fit key, but now with the MAXX cams, you can see we're going to have height gain right there. This side, A2 again. Install the clip up in the frame, engaging the lever. On some models, this little band right here, you can see it's bent upward. That needs to be pushed down a little bit. Right there is all that's necessary. So when someone says it doesn't fit, they do. Okay, we're installing the torsion bar tool. Backing it up with a bend wrench. That should do. We're now going to reinsert the nut. I call it a bridge nut. I'm going to lift up the exhaust.